Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mr. Prosper Channel, where we talk about prosperity life hacks. I'm Isabella.
And I am Dave. It's great to be back with all of you, our amazing listeners. How are you doing today, Isabella?
I'm doing great, Dave. I'm really excited about our conversation today. It's a topic that is so important, yet often whispered about in the shadows. We believe in bringing things into the light to help everyone prosper in all areas of life.
That's so true, Isabella. And before we dive into our topic, we want to give a huge thank you to everyone who's been supporting our channel. Your likes, shares, and subscriptions mean the world to us. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on our weekly chats.
Yes, please do. Your support helps us reach more people and create a bigger community of prosperity-minded individuals. Okay, so let's get into it. Today, we're going to talk about something that can be a silent thief in our lives, stealing our joy, our peace, and our ability to build prosperous relationships. We're talking about pornography.
It's a heavy topic, I know. And some of you might be tempted to switch off, but I really encourage you to stay with us. Whether this is something you've personally struggled with, or you know someone who has, or you're just curious about its effects, this conversation is for you. We want to approach this with a lot of grace and understanding.
Exactly, Dave. No judgment here. Our goal is to shed light on how pornography can silently ruin you, how it can deeply affect even the strongest of marriages, and most importantly, how to find a path to freedom and build healthier habits.
And I want to be upfront with our listeners from the start. This is a topic that hits close to home for me. I had my own struggles with pornography in my younger years, and it's something I had to overcome. It wasn't easy, but it was one of the most important battles I've ever won. So I'll be sharing a bit of my own story today, hoping it can help someone out there who might be feeling trapped.
Thank you for being so open and vulnerable, Dave. I think that's incredibly brave and will make this conversation even more meaningful for our listeners. So let's start with the silent part. Why do we say pornography is silently ruining you?
That's a great question, Isabella. It's silent because for many people, it starts as a seemingly harmless curiosity. In today's world, with the internet at our fingertips, it's so incredibly accessible. You can be in your own room, on your phone, and no one would ever know it. It creates this secret world.
A secret world. I can see how that would be isolating. You're physically present with your family or friends, but mentally and emotionally, you're somewhere else entirely.
Precisely. And in that secret world, things start to change in your brain. When you watch pornography, your brain gets a huge hit of dopamine, which is the feel-good chemical. It's the same chemical that's released when you eat your favorite food or achieve a goal. But pornography provides a supersized, unnatural dose of it.
Wow, so your brain is getting this massive reward for something that's not real, that's not connected to a genuine human relationship.
Exactly. And just like with any drug, over time, your brain starts to crave that high. The normal, healthy interactions in your life, a loving hug from your partner, a good conversation with a friend, they start to feel less and less exciting. They can't compete with the intense dopamine rush from pornography.
Ah, so it's like your brain's pleasure scale gets broken. The things that are supposed to bring you genuine joy and connection start to feel bland.
Yes, exactly. That's a perfect way to put it. And that's where the silent ruin begins. You start to feel disconnected from the people around you. You might become more irritable, more anxious, or even depressed, and you might not even realize that it's connected to this secret habit. For me, I remember feeling a constant sense of shame and guilt. I'd put on a happy face for my family and friends, but inside, I felt like I was living a lie.
That must have been so incredibly difficult, Dave. Carrying that weight around all by yourself?
It was. And that's the thing about this habit. It thrives in secrecy. The shame keeps you from reaching out for help. You think you're the only one, that no one would understand. But the truth is, millions of people are struggling with this in silence.
That leads us to another really important aspect of this topic, the impact on married couples. This isn't just an individual issue, is it? It can create deep wounds in a marriage.
Oh, absolutely. It can be devastating for a marriage, for both the husband and the wife. Let's talk about the husband first, as statistically more men struggle with this. When a husband is secretly viewing pornography, it creates a huge wall between him and his wife. He might be physically present, but he's emotionally and sexually checked out.
I can imagine that would be so confusing and hurtful for the wife. She might feel like she's done something wrong, that she's not attractive enough, or that he's not interested in her anymore.
That's a very common feeling for wives in this situation. She might notice he's more distant, less interested in intimacy, or even when they are intimate, it feels disconnected. He might be comparing her to the unrealistic images he sees in pornography, which is incredibly damaging to her self-esteem.
And it's not just about the physical aspect, right? It's the betrayal of trust. Even if there's no physical affair, it can feel like an emotional and sexual affair.
You're so right, Isabella. For many wives, discovering their husband's pornography use is a deep betrayal. It's the secrecy, the lies, the fact that he's been sharing a part of his sexuality with anonymous people on a screen instead of with her. It shatters the foundation of trust that a healthy marriage is built on.
That's so heartbreaking. And what about the impact on the husband's view of his wife and of women in general?
That's another huge piece of the puzzle. Pornography often portrays women as objects for sexual gratification, not as whole people with thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Over time, this can warp a man's perception of women. He might start to have unrealistic expectations about sex and what a woman's body should look like. It can lead to a devaluing of real intimacy and a focus on performance rather than connection.
So it really cheapens something that is meant to be a beautiful and sacred part of marriage.
It really does. It replaces the beauty of a real, loving, and sometimes messy human connection with a sterile, one-dimensional fantasy. And for the wife, the pain is immense. She can feel rejected, inadequate, and deeply hurt. She might wonder, why am I not enough for him? It can lead to anxiety, depression, and a loss of her own sense of worth and desirability.
It's a ripple effect of pain, isn't it? It starts with one person's secret habit, but it spreads and touches every part of the relationship. And while we've been talking about the husband's perspective, it's important to acknowledge that women can struggle with pornography too, and the effects on the marriage can be just as damaging.
Absolutely. The feelings of betrayal and the breakdown of trust are just as real when the roles are reversed. The core issue is the same: secrecy, a turning away from the real relationship towards a fantasy, and the emotional and spiritual disconnection that it causes.
So, for anyone listening who is in this situation, whether you are the one struggling or you are the spouse who has been hurt, please know that there is hope. And that brings us to the most important part of our conversation today: how to change these habits and overcome pornography. Dave, since you've walked this road yourself, what would you say is the first step?
Take a deep breath. The very first step, and honestly the hardest one, is to admit that you have a problem. You have to break the silence. For me, for years, I was in denial. I told myself it wasn't a big deal, that everyone did it, but deep down, I knew it was hurting me. I knew it was creating a distance between me and the people I loved, and most importantly, a distance from the man I wanted to be.
So bringing it into the light is key. Even just saying it out loud to yourself, I have a problem with this, is a huge step.
It's massive. And the next step, which is just as crucial, is to tell someone you trust. This is so scary because the shame tells you that you'll be judged and rejected. But you have to find someone safe to talk to. A close friend, a pastor, a counselor, or even your spouse if you feel that's the right step. When I finally opened up to a good friend, a weight was lifted off my shoulders that I had been carrying for years. I realized I wasn't alone.
That's so powerful, Dave. Having someone to walk with you on this journey is so important. What are some of the practical habits someone can start to build to overcome this?
There are several things that were really helpful for me. The first is to identify your triggers. What are the situations, emotions, or times of day when you are most tempted to look at pornography? For many people, it's when they are feeling lonely, bored, stressed, or tired.
HALT. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. I've heard that acronym used in addiction recovery.
Yes, that's a great one to remember. Once you know your triggers, you can start to make a plan to deal with them in a healthy way. For example, if you know that you're most tempted late at night when you're alone, you can make a new habit of turning off your phone an hour before bed and reading a book instead. Or if stress is a trigger, you can find a healthy outlet, like going for a run, listening to music, or talking to a friend.
So it's about replacing a negative coping mechanism with a positive one. That makes so much sense.
Exactly. You're retraining your brain. You're teaching it that there are better, healthier ways to deal with difficult emotions than escaping into a fantasy world. Another really practical tip is to make pornography harder to access. There are great accountability software programs you can install on your computer and phone that can block explicit websites and even send a report to an accountability partner.
Wow, that's a great tool. It adds another layer of protection and makes you think twice before you act on an impulse.
It does. It creates a barrier and gives you a moment to pause and remember why you want to change. And that brings me to another really important point. You need to have a strong why. Why do you want to be free from pornography? Is it because you want to have a more intimate and connected marriage? Is it because you want to be a person of integrity? Is it because you want to experience real joy and peace in your life?
Having that why in front of you can be a powerful motivator when the temptation is strong.
It's your anchor. Write it down. Put it somewhere you can see it every day. When the urge to go back to the old habit comes, and it will, you can look at your why and remember what you're fighting for.
These are such great practical steps, Dave. And for the spouse who's been hurt by this, what advice would you give them?
That's a really important question, Isabella. For the spouse, it's crucial to remember that your partner's struggle is not your fault. You didn't cause it, and you can't fix it. It's their journey to walk. Your role is to take care of yourself. Seek your own support, whether it's through a counselor, a support group, or trusted friends. You need a safe space to process your own pain, anger, and betrayal.
That's so important. You can't pour from an empty cup. You need to be filling yourself up with support and healing as well.
Absolutely. And if both partners are willing, seeking professional help together, like marriage counseling, can be incredibly transformative. A good counselor can help you navigate the difficult conversations, rebuild trust, and find a path to healing and restoration for your marriage. It won't be easy, and it will take time, but a marriage can heal from this and become even stronger on the other side.
That's so hopeful, Dave. It's not a death sentence for a marriage with commitment from both sides. Healing is possible.
It truly is. And I want to encourage our listeners who are struggling to be patient with themselves. You're not going to be perfect. There might be setbacks along the way, but the goal is progress, not perfection. Every day that you choose a healthy habit over the old one is a victory. Celebrate those small wins.
That's great advice. Beating yourself up after a setback only fuels the shame and can push you right back into the old habit. Grace and self-compassion are so important in this journey.
They're everything. This isn't just about stopping a bad habit. It's about building a new life. It's about rediscovering the joy of real connection, of being fully present with the people you love. It's about living a life of integrity where your inner world matches your outer world. That, to me, is a huge part of living a prosperous life.
Yes, exactly. A prosperous life isn't just about money or success. It's about having rich, meaningful relationships, peace of mind, and being true to yourself. And pornography is a thief that tries to steal all of that.
Well said, Isabella. It promises pleasure, but in the end, it only delivers emptiness. The real joy, the real fulfillment is found in real life with real people.
Wow, what a powerful conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and your story with us today, Dave. I know it's going to help so many people.
Thank you for creating a safe space to have this conversation, Isabella. It's not an easy topic, but it's a necessary one.
It really is. And to our amazing listeners, thank you for joining us for this important discussion. If this episode has resonated with you in any way, please know that you are not alone. There is help and there is hope.
That's right. And we would love to hear from you. In the comments below, without sharing any personal details you're not comfortable with, maybe you could share one healthy habit you're building in your life right now. It could be anything from going for a daily walk to spending more quality time with your family. Let's encourage each other to build lives of true prosperity.
That's a great idea, Dave. And as always, if you found this conversation valuable, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who might need to hear it, and make sure you're subscribed to Mr. Prosper channel for more life hacks for a prosperous life.
We're so grateful for each and every one of you. Keep taking those small steps towards a more prosperous you, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.